Hi everyone, it's Junkrins. If you've noticed from the prop and from our set, this is the next installment of our holiday Halloween Scare-a-thon 2014. Now, we're going to review Beetlejuice. 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 Before we begin, I didn't know that James Rolfe of the Angry Video Game Nerd fame, shortened to AVGN, I didn't know he was going to do this year. I was planning on doing it, and he did it too. He got to it before me, and so I'm going to give him the proper shout out. Congratulations, James, on getting to the movie first. And I highly suggest, and now he does have some foul language in many of his videos, but if you don't mind that sort of thing, I highly suggest you go and check out his channel at Cinemassacre. He is very, very funny. He is very talented as a filmmaker, and he is one of the inspirations that I have of reviewing scary movies on Halloween, making home movies. Phyllis Stokes is another. Ray William Johnson is another, and you can look up their channels. But James has the Cinemassacre channel on YouTube, and he actually has a website. So be sure you go and check that out. The film Beetlejuice was made in 1988, and it's a horror comedy. The film has an all-star cast of Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice, Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis as Adam and Barbara Maitland. Winona Ryder stars as Lydia Dietz. Catherine O'Hara and Jeffrey Jones star as Delia and Charles Dietz. Lynn Shaddix plays as Otho. The late Sylvia Sidney plays as Juno, the caseworker. Robert Goulet plays Maxie Dean. Dick Cavett plays Bernard. Annie McEnroe plays as Jane, and Tony Cox plays as the preacher, and Jack Angel provides the voice of said preacher. Now, the film was directed by the ever-talented Tim Burton. The score was written and arranged by Danny Elfman. These two, along with Michael Keaton, they teamed up to make this movie, and they would team up again 2 more times at least to make the Batman movies, Batman and Batman Returns. Now, adding to this all-star list is the film distributor of Warner Brothers. They have the Batman films, the Superman films, and Looney Tunes under their franchise. In my opinion, the Mount of Poop, owned by Viacant, and no, I'm not going to use their real names because, number one, I loathe and detest them, and number two, I don't want them to lay a copyright claim against my video. It's my personal opinion, they will never, ever, ever in this lifetime be as good as Warner Brothers. They will never, ever, ever be as good as Fox. Even though Fox is a little heavy-handed, but Fox is pretty good. They got Star Wars. They will never be as good as Universal with the classic monster movies like Dracula, Frankenstein, The Wolfman, the Jurassic Park trilogy. I know some people don't care for the third one, but the first one was a masterpiece. If you want to see a good movie, stick with good movie studios. Stay away from big old hunking piles of you know what. Stick with something that's going to give you a superior movie, a superior video, a superior product. Warner Brothers, made in the USA. That's the equivalent. The other folks, the ones I'm not going to mention, I think you know which ones I'm talking about. They're like the equivalent of made in China. Incidentally, one of their latest movies, a good portion of the second half of it takes place in China. But that's a different review for a different time. As the ghost with the most says, it's showtime, folks. In other words, let's get to the review. The story of Beetlejuice is all about a family known as the Dietzes. Charles, Delia, and their daughter Lydia move into a house that is haunted by the ghosts of Adam and Barbara Maitland, who died tragically in a car accident involving a dog. The Maitlands are not scary. No, they're not scary. If you're looking for a scary movie, check out something else. This is a horror comedy. Maitlands aren't scary. And try as they might, they can't scare away the Dietzes. It's kind of hard to scare when people can't see ghosts. People can't see the dead. What I find interesting in the classic 80s style is how it shows that the government and bureaucracy tend to be inefficient. Now, this is a common theme in that time period. Now, I'm not going to give you a political philosophy discourse. I'm not going to delve into my own political opinions. Not about to do that. This is not the place for it. I'm just talking about a common theme at the time. You had the movie Ghostbusters. Some scientists get booted out of a university because of the bureaucratic red tape. They started their own private business, ghost busting, till the government bureaucracy steps in, winds up setting the ghosts free, and then they can't handle the problem that they created. Not to steal a line from the Ghostbusters 2 original soundtrack, but they literally cannot handle the problem that they themselves had created through setting the ghosts free. And so they call the Ghostbusters to come in. The very people they were trying to shut down come in and clean up everything, to bust the ghost. And you have Batman. Batman, he was a vigilante. But he was a private citizen, and he stopped the Joker where the Gotham police couldn't. And now you have Beetlejuice. You see, when the Maitlands died, they got thrown into this afterlife that has a bureaucracy that is inefficient. Their caseworker, Juno, can't or won't help them. And so they, in trying to scare these away and constantly failing, turn to a private specter, a private ghost, a rogue bioexorcist called Beetlejuice. They feel that they got to turn to it to get the job done. Now, once again, I'm not going to give a political discourse. This is not a political discourse. This is just me talking about movies at the time. Another 80s movie that came out was They Live, and just go and watch it. You know, it's a political movie in and of itself, if not a horror movie too. Incidentally, James from AVGN actually just reviewed that one too. I just got done watching his channel, so it came to mind. But right off the bat, you can tell this is a movie that is scored by Danny Elfman. He composed the soundtrack, and without even really having to see his name, you know it's him. It just has that weird, eccentric feel to the music. It has that Danny Elfman vibe. If I remember correctly, he did the music for Men in Black. I know he did the movie music for Batman. He's done several movies with Tim Burton, and he's one of my favorite orchestra leaders, I think you would call it, but he is one of my favorite composers. And his music just adds to the feel of the movie, the weird, wacky, zany, eccentric feel that the movie has. And one thing I've noticed about Danny Elfman is you can't go and see a movie that he scored and walk away not humming the theme. In fact, this morning after I watched Beetlejuice last night, I'm sitting there on the toilet this morning humming the Beetlejuice theme. TMI, I know, but you know that tells you the effect that his music has on you. Speaking of disgusting things, take a look at the acting. It is superb. Michael Keaton playing as Beetlejuice. He is zany. He's crazy. He is a character that you hate to love and that you love to hate. He's disgusting. He's perverted. He's sleazy. But he's so funny and lighthearted that you just kind of don't care. Now, from what I understand, I did some research into the movie, and it was originally, he was supposed to be much darker, much more violent. It wasn't this wacky, zany, fun roller coaster ride through Tim Burton's mind. It was originally something that was supposed to be very dark, very violent. I mean, like this violent. This violent. Not weird, wacky, eccentric. As far as the acting goes, the Maitlands, they're your normal, average, everyday American couple. Nothing much to say about them except that they're dead. Yes, they're dead. When they die and they get thrown into this wacky, zany, horribly inefficient afterlife. And they have to face all these different trials and obstacles in their throughout the movie. First off, they're fighting. First off, they die. That really could put a damper on their day. But then they have to put up with this inefficient, bureaucratic afterlife government. They have to put up with the Dietzes who want them gone. At first they want them gone, but then they want them to stay. They want to turn them into like amusement park attractions. They got to fight. They got to not fight, but they got to put up with Beetlejuice. They have to put up with sandworms. But the sandworms don't play as much a role in the movie as they do in the TV show. But more on that in a little bit. The Dietzes are anything but typical. The acting is superb there. Lydia is dark and gothic and suicidal. Her artist mother makes creepy statues. Her real estate agent father is the only normal person out of the whole lot in this movie. He wants to move to the country so he can relax and watch birds. And in fact, several scenes come to mind in this movie, and two of them that are very memorable is the one scene where they're eating dinner and they start sitting there. The Maitlands possess the Dietzes, and they're singing "T.I. come and me one go home," and the shrimp comes up, grabs them, and drags them down. I love that scene. It's hilarious. Another scene that I find so memorable is the scene where that Lydia summons Beetlejuice to actually help the Maitlands. I'm not going to tell you why, but she summons him to help the Maitlands, and he's coming up out of this model, this nice stinking model. I'm not going to use the exact language from the movie because I try to keep my language clean. I try to keep it clean because, number one, my faith. Number two, I try to keep it clean for the kiddies because I want to make this kind of a family-oriented show. But nice stinking model. He comes up out and he has these like bat ear things. He's like this weird zombie clown carnival thing, and it's like you had the music playing in the background. Just it's so memorable. I'm sure y'all will find a lot of these scenes memorable when you go and watch the movie. As for Burton's directing, I could not think of anyone else to direct a movie like this. It has that vibe, that dark comedy vibe that only he has mastered. And I love Burton as a director. He is my favorite director, hands down. 3 hands down. He is my favorite director. I've seen several of his movies, including Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice, of course, Batman Returns. I've made a lot of references to them. Nightmare Before Christmas, Corpse Bride, Frankenweenie. Whew, the list goes on and on and on. I can't name all of them, but he is my favorite director, hands down. And his movies just fit perfectly for Halloween. I don't want to have just all Tim Burton movies. I could have all Tim Burton movies for Halloween holiday scare-a-thon, but I'm not going to do that. Because variety is the spice of life. But any of his movies really could just fit perfectly in Halloween. They just can. Beetlejuice was a smash hit in the 1980s, in the late 80s, early 90s. It spawned a children's TV show. The DVD that I have here of it is the 20th Anniversary Deluxe Edition DVD. And it actually comes, looking on the back here, it says with 3 hilarious episodes from the animated Beetlejuice TV series. There were toys. I had some of the toys growing up. I remember one of my favorites was a Beetlejuice mask that you push a air button thing and then snake things pop up out of the hair. I loved that mask growing up. It's probably in storage someplace and it probably doesn't work anymore. But I love that mask growing up. I remember that. You hear that, Mom? I remember it. You don't think I remember this stuff, but I do. I do remember it. I remember little Shop of Horrors things, little puppet things that you made. Anyway, there's a different movie, different day. Like I said, Beetlejuice was a smash hit. He really turned out to be the ghost with the most. And if you have not seen Beetlejuice, I suggest highly. I recommend it. 10 out of 10. You have not seen this movie, you need to see it. It's perfect to watch at Halloween. If you don't have it in your collection, get it. Get it. I don't know what you're waiting for. Go get it. Get it before somebody can say, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Go get the movie. It's good. If you have it, go get it. Watch it. If you like this review, you like other videos that are on our channel, on Junk Rins, don't be afraid to like, subscribe. We would appreciate it if you did. You can follow us on our Facebook page. You can follow us on YouTube. And this is going to be our review of Beetlejuice on our Halloween holiday Halloween Scare-a-thon 2014. I don't know what the next movie that we're going to review is. You give me a second. I'm gonna go get the movies that we can review, and I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna let the fans decide what the next movie that I review is. So you just hang tight. I'm back. I'm going to give you a list of the movies that this is not all my horror movies, but this is the ones that we've really selected out for Halloween this year. I'm going to let the fans decide what the next one we have review is. Zombieland. Godzilla. 2014. The Woman in Black. Sleepy Hollow. Let's see. Tim Burton with Johnny Depp. Sleepy Hollow. Now, I lost the case to these, so I had to just kind of do something, to really make up for it. I'd have to find the cases again, but we have Evil Dead. Evil Dead. Dead by Dawn. And Army of Darkness, the Evil Dead Trilogy. If I do the Evil Dead, I'm going to do the trilogy all together. So, I'm going to read you your choices once again. Just put it down in the comment, and whichever one shows up the most, that's going to be the one I review. Godzilla, Zombieland, Woman in Black, Sleepy Hollow, the Evil Dead Trilogy. Once again, Godzilla, Zombieland, The Woman in Black, Sleepy Hollow, and the Evil Dead Trilogy. I'm going to put these down in the little description box just to make so you'll have plenty of time to see which one, to look at them and tell me which ones that you want me to review. So anyway, this is Junk Rins and The Hand for our Holiday Halloween Scareathon 2014. Signing out.